Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 445 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today by the one, the only, two-time Hodge Trophy winner, Benjamin Askren. Benjamin, how are you? You are Benjamin,
that made
right?
It sound like I was the one and only two-time Hodge Trophy winner, which is not true because both David and Zane and Kale's got more. Kale's got 2.5.
Kale's got 2.5.
Won the 1 year. Hey, I am Benjamin. I hate ever having to write Benjamin on my legal documents. I've considered changing it just to Ben. That's what I go by. And all of my kids have short names: Alex, Andy, and Ozzy. None of which have extensions when they have to write them legally. I even tried to convince my wife to not give them any middle names because middle names are stupid, and she wouldn't agree to it.
She wouldn't agree to it. Well, it's kind of a nice middle names are kind of a fun zone where you can kind of throw like a family thing or something a little more. You can get a little more creative with the middle names.
Nobody cares about. I don't know any of you. The only middle name I know is Daniel Nomad Lobdell. That's it. I don't know anyone else's middle name.
That is my legal middle name.
I know nobody else's middle name. You guys don't know mine.
Well, you know Stephen Kyle. You know Daniel Roy.
I did. Oh, you're right. I did know that. Now that you say them.
All the middle names
yours?
you know are
What's
from
yours?
Here. Christian Caleb.
Really?
Yeah.
CCP.
What's Braze?
Dylan Duncan.
No.
Is it really?
It's Duncan.
No.
It's Duncan. Douglas.
It's Douglas.
Oh, see, you got the wrong one. You don't even know what his right middle name is.
I like calling him Dylan Duncan Bray.
Andrew Spencer.
And Andrew Spencer Spay, of course.
Why do you guys all say each other's middle names? Is it an inside joke? I've never heard of this.
Because he's a weirdo who. So when I first got here, he refused to. He's like, I'm not going to call him Nomad. And Bracky's like, yes, you are. That's just how it's going to go. And so now he just makes it a point to, at the start of every show, use my full government name.
And at first, because Nomad didn't like it either. Nomad didn't want anyone to know his name, I don't think.
He thought he could keep that bit up.
Nomad seems like, I know Nomad a little bit, but we're not really close. He seems like a guy who wants as little government intervention in his life as possible.
Yeah, that's why I live on a farm with well water, off the grid. I don't have a social security number.
Fingerprints.
Stop.
Yeah, I bit off my fingerprints.
Oof.
Nice.
All right, Ben, you're supposedly you claim you have some sort of secret audio you want to play.
Well, yeah, I do. Here we go. Let's do it.
Now, Bo Nickel kind of throws your back every once in a while, but it feels like every guy who's not one of the top three this year.
This is about Spencer Lee.
He takes them down and puts them to their back within a minute. Every time.
He was electric, man. It was awesome. I hate saying it.
Could he be the guy that changes the Iowa wrestling program? Because I feel like he could be.
Just when you thought they might be down and out a little bit, Ben, you got this guy.
And he's a game changer.
He's going to attract big-time recruits. He's going to change existing team members. And, it's almost like his happy-go-lucky fun attitude, his vocalness and willingness to have articulate discussions with interview people, and he shows a lot of respect to his other opponents. He's coming out to the freaking Pokemon fight song or whatever the heck it is. He's peeling back a layer of the shield.
All right. What do you guys think? That at this point, this seems kind of prophetic.
Does it? Yeah. Certainly.
Well, you know what made me think of this, and I had remembered. I had to go find where this quote was, or this segment was. But I was watching Iowa versus Purdue, and what really struck me was in a few of the matches, there was a few, like after Kemmer got a few takedowns, like his last takedown was kind of like, he gets it, so what, so what? And the Iowa bench was just jacked up. They were all fired up. They were all excited for him. And you kind of saw this through almost all of the matches. And that struck me as being different. That struck me as something that I hadn't really seen before. And the mannerisms and the body language were different than what I'd seen previously. And that made me think about this conversation Tommy and I had a couple years back.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot. Just Iowa's back on top. They're the number one team right now. Spencer Lee is by far has had the biggest impact on that program from a wrestler standpoint. And it made me think about, when Penn State was on their run, and who's to say that the run's not over, but, when they won 8 of 9, right? And the thing was the detractors for Penn State that were mad that Penn State was on top they've got the guys. You get David Taylor, Ed Ruth, Zane, Bo Nickel, Vincenzo Joseph, Jason Nolf, you're going to win. So now it's like, okay, those guys are gone. They've got Chinzo and Mark Hall, but now it's like it's Iowa's turn. They've got the guys. And so to me, it made me think about things a little bit differently, because on the one hand, it's like, well, which is it? What makes teams great? What is what's the ingredient?
I know you said this is what the haters say, but I would disagree on the Kale topic. I mean, when you say they had the guys, listen, Kale did something special to those guys. I mean, we're talking, he had 5 guys who are probably, I don't know, top 15s ever in the history. But think about that. He took these guys from good high school athletes to transcendent college wrestlers, to the point where if any one of those guys would have had those exact same stats on a different program, they would have been the best wrestler ever in that program's history. And he had 5 of them within a really short period of time. So there was a huge amount of development. And now, whatever it is, it feels like, and I have been an Iowa detractor for years, I feel as though there's a different team chemistry or something with that Iowa group. I mean, yeah, when I watched that bench in that Purdue match, it was like, wow, these guys, they're on to something here.
Well, I guess that's sort of my point. It's like, well, do you think that Iowa suddenly or Penn State suddenly started developing athletes differently, or is it more simple in that they just have the guys now?
You got to do both. You got to have both. You got to have the guys. You got to be able to develop them. I mean, it's like, are you going to tell me Iowa wasn't getting good recruits the last decade? Because if you tell, I would venture to guess, if we look at recruiting class rankings, it would not bear that out. They have had some really good recruiting classes in the last, say, decade, 12 years or whatever. And same with, say, Oklahoma State, Ohio State. It is about getting the guys, right? That's one of the pieces of the puzzle. The second piece is, what do you do with the guys? What do the guys do when they get there? Do they get better? Do they get worse? Do they flake out? Do they flunk out? Do they quit the team? Like, what do the guys do when they get there?
Yeah, and I would say that with a guy like Spencer, there's different kind of recruits. There's like guys with transcendent potential, and I don't know if everyone has that or not. Ben, you would probably know better than me.
Well, I mean, when you say that, Christian, it's like, okay, when you say transcendent potential, is that limited to the number 1 overall high school recruit, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5? What's it limited to? Because some of these guys, I think Bo Nickel is like, what, a 7 or 8? So does that mean that the 7 above him also had transcendent potential? And if so, then how many of those 7 above him reached it? Because Bo Nickel was 8, right? I mean, what was he? An 8?
Coming out of high school, I don't know. I thought he was probably a top 5 pound for pound guy.
Yeah, I think he was more like a 3 or 4.
Okay, who was an 8? So someone in there. Was Nolf the 8?
Nolf might have been back there a little bit. I don't remember. It was like class of 2013 or something, 14.
Yeah.
So I don't exactly recall.
I don't like the idea of potential. I just like the idea of how good you are right then, and then how good you continue to get, right? Because some kids, in my opinion, it's all about desire to keep getting better. If you really want to keep getting better, you're gonna keep improving yourselves. And some people try to attribute it to a body style or a wrestling type, and no, it's not the case. Like, you could point to wrestlers of all levels of greatness who have all different kinds of body styles and types. And actually, when I was with Matt and the Rooters podcast, it was like a month ago, we looked at old recruiting classes, and man, you think about it, but then you go back and see how many kids actually flopped. Like, we're talking like number 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. It's like, holy crap, I forgot how good that kid was. And now they're not good at all. They never started at D1 level. There's, all kinds of, I think it was, look up the 2012
oh man,
high school.
Disaster.
That was the one, right? It was 2012. Yes. All-time bad. Look that up. And then you think, okay, these guys aren't very good. And then you think, well, in 2012, what do we think of these guys? In 2012, we thought, oh, that guy's going to be a national champ. That guy's going to be a national champ. That guy's, do we have the list yet?
He's got Penn State's recruiting class rankings. Bo Nickel was number 2 for his
These are weight rankings.
Yeah, number 2. So who was ahead of Bo Nickel at this point in time?
Yeah, who was ahead of Bo Nick? That's what I'm saying. You forget how good some kids in high school were.
He never
I'll
wrestled
look up
Sebastian. It might have been Sebastian was ahead of him.
Johnny Sebastian?
Yeah, which is so crazy
Really?
to think about now. Yeah,
He was
possibly.
at Bergen. Yeah, he might have been. Yeah, that's true.
He won Who's Number 1. Bo wrestled at Iron Man, but didn't. He was never at Who's Number 1 for whatever reason. I'm not sure why or what was going on there. But I mean, I honestly completely agree with your point, and I've given tons of credit to Penn State for their development of their guys, and you have to give a lot of credit to Iowa as well. And I do think there is something.
Okay, I got it, Christian. You ready? Are you ready for this top 10?
Okay, yeah, I get it.
And so listen, I'm not bashing on these guys, but this is like, let's think when these guys were 2012 seniors, we thought these guys are going to be national champions. These are going to be multiple-time All-Americans. And we just forget how hard it is to develop at that next level because it is a real challenge. Number 1, Jason Surtis. 2, Taylor Massa. 3, Jimmy Gillibon. 4, Jordan Rogers. 5, John Meeks. 6, Alex Cicernos. 7, Mark Gray. 8, Doug Valero. 9, Nico Reyes. 10, Devin Peterson. I mean, some of those guys literally never started a Division I match.
Yeah.
Never.
There's a handful. I mean, Surtis is really the only one that had any measure of success that would.
And Jimmy Gilbon was all right.
Yeah, he had 2-time All-American. No, that's pretty. And then there's then a couple years ago we've got Yanni, Spencer, Dayton, all same high school class. And there's other guys in there I didn't say, but I mean that's just like the disparity year over year can be great. And we haven't seen really a run like that. We didn't see a run like that of elite talent. I mean, Soriano was a year before that too. So like concentrating in one weight, but it is kind of rare what happened. And I think 2012 is also rare. So I guess
but back to your original point is, does Iowa have the guys? Now they always had the guys. So did Penn State. I mean, if you look at Penn State's guys who didn't really make it, don't get frustrated over there. I see you shaking your head. It's about
but I'm
development.
trying to figure out. I mean, explain this to me. What is did
I wish I had right now the Iowa recruited class rankings in front of me so I could pick through every class and say, oh, this guy was an animal.
No, they had great recruits. It's no denying.
And Penn State did for this era. They had great recruits. If I go through their roster, there's guys who Soriano, right, didn't stay in school. Keeping kids on your team, that's part of it. If every good recruit comes in, transfers, well, you're not gonna have a very good team.
Yeah. So what do you
mean?
So you attribute literally the effect of, and one thing I do think is true, and that I noticed as well during the Purdue match, is that team camaraderie that they clearly have.
Yes.
That Nelson Brands is as fired up for Tony Cassiope or for Jacob Warner. They're all just excited, and there is that shared experience of winning. I'm sure you probably went through it a little bit with you were on some great Missouri teams, Ben. Like when you're winning and the ball gets rolling, it just gets more fun. And we've seen that with Penn State for sure over the years, and now Iowa's getting some of that, and so the whole thing is just additive to the overall experience, and everyone is kind of just the energy around it seems like they're making each other better. But it's I guess I struggle with it because it's like it's very indefinable. It's difficult to measure. It's difficult to say okay, Tom Brands is developing his guys differently. It's like I don't feel like a coach of Tom Brand's caliber is all of a sudden like having an epiphany on how to develop guys, right? Like he knows how to
I wouldn't say Tom Brands has changed at all. I would say that and listen, obviously I attribute it to Spencer. I'm not in the program. I don't know. I can't say for sure. I mean, it feels like Spencer has some influence on some of the guys, but there's probably a melding of a lot of these personality types, which are really good. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna throw anyone on the bus. I asked someone around the Iowa program. I said, who's the troublemaker on your team? Who goes against the trouble? And this was a couple weeks ago. And they said, well, this guy's got like a 2.5. I'm like, no, like who's going to the bars, like drinking and getting in fights? Like, there's got to be somebody, right? They're like, well, Jacob Warner likes to talk to a lot of girls. I'm like, no. You don't understand what I'm talking about. I'm like, there's got to be someone who's causing trouble on your team, right? And so, I'm not throwing it on the bus, but we know other programs right now who are having, issues with personalities and people going to get in trouble, drinking, and we could even go worse down that road. That is obviously an issue with college-level athletes. It is, and if we want to pretend like it's not, So this Iowa group, I was trying to get out of this person what the biggest issue of anyone on the team was, and the most I got was they talk to a lot of girls.
Wow.
That means
I'm concerned.
that is like that's what I said. I'm like, no. Like, is anyone getting in real trouble? And they said they like didn't know what I was talking about. They acted like I was crazy.
What are you looking for
something.
dirt
So I'm
for,
like, okay.
Ben?
Well, I just want I see what you guys are seeing now is that there's a great dynamic. Spencer's obviously, I don't want to say a choir boy, but I can't imagine him getting in trouble. DeSanto, can you imagine DeSanto? There's no way DeSanto does anything. I mean, come on.
What do you think?
I mean,
If you were able to get into DeSanto's Netflix, what do you think is like most recently watched? What's he currently watching through right now?
Oh, definitely documentaries of some sort.
Really?
Whatever, he's into something. Oh yeah, he has no time for fiction. None of it.
Mindhunter.
Absolutely
Mindhunter? Oh my gosh.
No time for fiction. So I mean, because I don't even like to talk about this a lot, but like for example, I never drank. I still to this day have not drank a drip of alcohol, and I will just tell you, something about that with my college team. And it wasn't like I didn't go around telling guys, you can't do this, you can't do this, don't do this, it's bad. It's like whatever, it's just what I did. But it rubs off on other people, that personality. The fact that I wanted to be in the wrestling room and I enjoyed it, that rubs off on other people. And then, that made a lot of people have more success. And I got to assume that Spencer's that type of guy. DeSanto's probably that type of guy. Like, what do you want to do on Saturday night, Austin? I want to go freaking shoot some single legs. Like, tell me that's not what he's saying, right? I mean, you got a bunch of kids who love wrestling is what I'm assuming is happening there.
Yeah. No, it's
what do you
no
think
question.
DeSanto does on a Saturday night?
Man, I don't know. He is a. I mean, in this day and age, for a kid, a kid in college to not have like social media or really any sort of interest in the things that are outside his work. He's really a throwback personality in many ways. In an era where it's really hard to be a throwback, it's hard to not be on social media. It's hard to not to be as off the grid.
You think he's got a garden, or what do you think he does in his spare time? Meditation, yoga?
Hey,
no,
Ben.
no, man. We need to go on an exploration to Iowa City, and you need to go spy on Austin DeSanto and figure out what he's doing in his spare time.
I am of the opinion now that the less we know about Austin DeSanto, the better it is, because people are so fascinated by him, and so I like kind of keeping him in the dark to just keep people along following him. All right, so real quick, you mentioned the recruiting rankings. I do have them pulled up for 18 back to 15.
Okay, let's.
Iowa, so again, it goes 18, 17, 16, 15, 9, 2, 3, 9. Penn State goes 1, 3, 2, 18. Now the 18, they didn't really bring anyone. However, it was bad ranking because basically the one guy they brought in was Vincenzo, who has obviously been lights out for them. So kind of bring them up. That kind of outlier would bring them down just because of the number of guys they brought in, and the process was changed kind of not too long after that. So based on this, Penn State is bringing in better guys. Which I think is more important. I think it's more important to start with the guys, and then development is secondary, also extremely important, but secondarily important to getting in better guys.
So, CP, the Nomad just threw it in your face. Penn State's got the guys.
I know they have the guys. Listen, I was not saying that was why they win or don't win or whatever. I think that Kale and company, and I've said it, you listen to the show, I say it all the time.
Every episode.
They're the best developers of talent in the game right now, right? It's still.
So Nomad, do you have the actual list? Like, who didn't pan out on that list? If you could. Or is it just a number?
Well, no, I have the number. There's just a bunch of guys. They're kind of spaced out. So, okay. 2015, Penn State brought in Chenzo, Kellen Stout, Tristan Law, Dom Gingeli. So, Vincenzo is obviously the only one there. In 2016, they brought in Mark Hall, Nick Suriano, Mason Manville, AJ Neville's, Luke Gardner.
Yeah, so Manville was a beast in high school, and he didn't pan out at all.
2017, Nick Lee, Brady Berge, Jared Verclaren, Joey Bloomer, James Hogue. 2018, a whole bunch of guys, including Brooks, RBY.
Beard.
Teskey was in that class. Seth Nevels was in that class.
Jolie, Gavin Teasdale.
I'm just looking. Some of these guys haven't started
that
yet,
class
so they
is
don't
ridiculous.
really count
That's
yet.
a ridiculous class. Read those names. No, that's worth reading. Just
Okay,
read it.
whole
That's-
class.
that's a ridiculous
Brooks,
class.
Beard, RBY, Teasdale, Lee, Nevels, Teskey,
Oh
and
my
then Paul
God.
Feig, Creed, Edsel, unranked.
That's insane.
That's insane.
That's a ridiculous class.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But so like Berge was a number one high school kid, right? Number one in the
Yes.
country.
Yes.
He hasn't scored big points yet. Verclaren was, I don't know if he's number one,
He's a
but he won the
sophomore.
cadet world title. So he was close. He wasn't.
He was
far
ranked
off.
number one at different points in his career. Yes.
So another guy who hasn't panned out hugely for them. So you're seeing, they got the guys. The guys just aren't quite panning out in this group for. And listen, it could be for a multitude of reasons. But with the Iowa situation I identify, I think there's something about that group of Iowa kids, which is just gelling, which is making them all better. Everything's going up.
So what do you think about the decision to pull Abe Assad out? True freshman. And this will be, I was saying, what is Coach Brand's
Well, then
really...
is Ironman getting pulled, Christian? Because
Well, I
he made
don't-
a tweet that sure
Shouldn't
sounded
I
like
be
he's getting
asking you
pulled.
this? You should be
I
our
don't
Ironman
know.
connection.
I guess I could send a text, but yeah, he made that tweet, that 1, 2, 3 question mark, which that sure makes it feel as though, hey, that means, hey, I'm wrestling. Isn't
Yeah,
that
the
what that
fact that he
means?
put a question mark makes me think. So there's two schools of thought that he's saying he's either teasing next year, okay, or he's saying
be.
this year. You wouldn't put the question mark if he was talking about the next year, right? Because it's like 1, 2, 3. It's like you wouldn't put that for a year down the line because
Yeah.
it's going to happen. You're going to wrestle next year, and those guys are going to be on the team.
Yeah.
What's in question? Will he wrestle this year? Right? So that's why I think he was, in fact, teasing this season. Now, Jaden may just be like, man, I want to be in on this Iowa discussion, and I'll just stir the pot here. But really, it's not a cool thing to do if you're not coming out with, like, Max Murin. Max Murin's ranked number 3 right now.
Hey, man.
Well, that's
cool.
where that's where I think it could be. We talk about how well this Iowa group is getting together, and we talk about things that could be divisive. If there's some people on Team Jaden, there's some people on Team Max, that could be a divisive issue, right?
You bring in this guy in the middle of the year. And now
I mean, there's some teams that are they're so well adjusted that it's like, listen, I can take a back seat. Anything that helps the team go to the final goal, I'm good with that, right? But if you're Max Murin, you're thinking, oh, this guy's like tweeting that he's going to start over me, like that's got to piss some people off, I'm sure too, right?
Maybe a little bit, but you know what? I think Iowa is such a bottom line room. Like Max Murin, if you don't want to get your spot taken, be unremovable from the lineup, right? Let there be no doubt that Jaden Ironman would be an upgrade over you. Would be a way to do it. And you know what? To me, I agree with what you're saying at 141 and 184. You can make a similar case. It's like you got a 5th-year senior here, guy's been around 12 twice. With Cash Wilkie. And, they benched him for a true freshman. So I think that there's no concerns in the Iowa room about it disrupting chemistry. They know what they came there to do. And I feel like, the Brains brothers are the most bottom line guys, right? It's about winning, right? It's about being the best. And if you're not the best, figure it out kind of thing. So
The Abe Assad thing, to what you were asking, is like, it does kind of shock me. And they must be seeing something in the room that, I've been watching Abe Assad since he's in the 8th grade. My kid wrestled him in the schoolboy national finals, right? And then Parker wrestled him last year, wrestled him in open tournament this year. So I've been watching Abe Assad fairly closely. And he's good, but when I look at this top 8 at 184, it's really, really, really good. And I think, shoot, he's going to, I think Abe's good. I think he's going to have a hard time moving too far into that group. But I got to think if the Iowa coaches are bringing him out of redshirt, they're thinking he can move like pretty far up into that group, because otherwise, why would you bring him out? Because Cash Wilkie is capable of a 7th or 8th, and so is Nelson Brands. I mean, Nelson Brands is ranked as high as 6th place. So you think that those guys are capable of moving up. So they must think Abe Assad can go like really, really, really high up on this list.
That's my read. I mean, my thought is they're seeing something there that this guy could be that top 5 type of potential wrestler that maybe Cash isn't. Now, I can't unsee Cash Wilkie almost beating Max Dean last year. I don't know if you remember that match at all.
I was there. Yep.
That was crazy. That was a crazy thing. But you know what? That doesn't really. That probably doesn't buy much stock, and Max Dean's not even in the picture this year. But for me, it was like, man, Cash Wilkie is right there, truly. But I understood. I think this is for the exact reason you pull Assad is the exact reason you should wrestle Ironman, man. Just make sure you win this year. Win this year. Don't leave anything to chance. Worry about next year. And if you don't get Ironman next year, no, that stinks. But you know what? You'll have.
Well, you got Mirror next year.
Mirror's number 3, right? And Yanni might go 49 next year, so who knows how much tougher 41's going to get. Nickley's back, but Pletcher will be gone. So
McKee's gone. I mean,
okay, this may be silly. Is there any like X factor of chemistry, excitement level, like the way they compete in the room, like something about Assad's impact on the team as a whole beyond just like the obvious point contribution at NCAAs, where just like when he's in the lineup, the guys trust him more, or he gets the guys around him, 74 and 97 compete harder when he's in the lineup. Is there any possibility of that? Because everyone seems to be on the same page that like their floor and their ceiling are all pretty similar.
Yeah.
So there has to be something else beyond it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would generally say yes to your question, but then it's like we saw Nelson Brands when he beat Sammy Colbert, how fired up the Iowa team was for him. So it just seems
point.
like they back everyone on the. It seems like the team chemistry is just fantastic, and they're backing whoever their guy is. And so, I mean, generally speaking, I would kind of go for that. But then when I watch what they acted like with Nelson Brands, it feels like a really similar type of feel.
Yeah, and they've got crazy depth too at multiple weights.
Yes.
Right?
Like
Like you think about 25, I mean Cashman I think would qualify, be a NCAA qualifier level guy. 33, they've got Gavin and Paul Glenn is still there. 41, you've got Turk's hanging around at 49 and Glosser. They've just got a lot of really good dudes. Yeah, someone like you got Wilkie and Brands on the bench now. Aaron Costello is a solid. I mean, Zach Glazier, he's in red shirt right now. I think he's probably going to be pretty good. I don't know where he's going to fit in. He got so big. He was a 174. Do you remember him, Ben?
Yeah, he's not fitting in.
Yeah, he's not fitting in.
He's out.
He's tall. And so he's been wrestling 97, and then they have Gabe Christensen coming in. So, like, at every weight.
Nelson and Cash on the bench.
Yeah, at every weight, they have depth and guys still coming in. So, but that gets back to the whole point you guys were arguing about. Bring in a whole bunch of really good guys, develop the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, hey, what you guys we were talking about, I have historically ragged on, Iowa's ability to develop guys, which is not an issue this year. But the other thing is about, Penn State, and you said this episode, I think I said it last episode, and it's fairly widely acknowledged that they are the best at developing people. But then sometimes, and I say that, but then sometimes, for example, on Friday night, I look at their lineup against Illinois. It's like Connor Krasig. Who is this guy? And, he's not very good. And they have other guys. They threw in Aaron Claybaugh. I'm reading these names because I don't know these guys. I'm reading these names. Aaron Claybaugh, they threw him in there. It's like, how don't they have someone who's a backup who's a little better than that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there are some areas where they don't have crazy depth.
We've talked about this. It's kind of crazy. Their lineup is either like these really high-end elite guys, or like Ben was saying, guys you've never really heard of.
And in the past,
never heard of them.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard of quite a few of these guys. In the past, like they would get someone like they would get a Jordan Conaway who was like he was kind of a depth guy who then ended up being a guy, and he was like 1 or 2 time All-American for him. Beat Tyler Graff once. He was really good. And so they just don't have that right now, but they have it in some spots. Like at 49, Luke Gardner would start at a lot of places, right? He's pretty good.
But he's not going to be an All-American.
No. But no one ever said James English would place either in 2014. That was absolutely unthinkable.
But Iowa, if you remove Lugo, how high is Vince Turk or Jaron Glosser ranked?
They're top 12 guys.
How high is Nelson Brands ranked? How high is Max Mirren ranked if you put Jaden Ironman in? It's like you have some like top 12, top 8, top 10 guys on Iowa's team for sure.
Penn State has Starocki, who I think would place very high. I think Joe Lee.
Okay, are we adding in red shirts now?
Well, you said Ironman, who's currently in red shirt.
That is a little different, though,
Damn
when
it,
you're
you
the
got
playing
me.
as a redshirt guy.
So, yeah, no, they don't have the crazy depth. I mean, there's a cause, and then there's some attrition, right? They lost Soriano. They lost some really good recruits and guys not pan out. And
Where did Manville go?
which?
Olympic redshirt.
Oh, he's Olympic redshirting.
Oh, Olympic redshirting. Okay.
The thing that
How good
I
is
think
he,
is
Matt? Is he gonna make the team?
no. I don't think so. The thing that's he made the team one year because Kamal got concussed. Like, that's what happened.
Okay.
The thing that I feel
Okay.
like no one is not being talked about enough with Penn State is they have never been this injured. Not remotely.
Oh.
And one time I
Yeah.
asked Kale about it, and he's like, well, it's not about who's the healthiest at NCAA time. But they have repeatedly been the healthiest at NCAAs. And this is the first year
Yeah,
where it's like,
right.
this thing went wrong, this thing went wrong, this thing went wrong. And it also happens to be a year where Iowa is loaded.
That's a great point. And no,
Yeah.
it's something we used to talk about a lot. It's like, man, they don't get hit. These guys don't get hurt. And I honestly, some people attribute it to luck, and I think there is a luck component to it. But I also attribute it to how they train and how they develop their guys
Oh,
and
absolutely.
how fresh they keep their guys. You're just less likely to get injured, right?
So I'll tell you guys, we had David Taylor in 20. This is when he's young, 2012 maybe. I think he was maybe a sophomore. I'm guessing we had him in AWA. And one of the things he said, which it was blowing my mind, but then it makes a lot of sense to what we're talking about. Is he said their longest practice of the last year was 75 minutes.
oh my
And I
gosh.
thought I pushed him on. I said, "Come on, man, you're lying. You were full of crap." And he stood up to it because I gave it to him. And I'm like, "There's no way." And he kept saying, "Yep, 75 minutes." And, Kale notoriously won't talk about what their training is like, and so I think there's something to that. And when we talk about not getting injured, and we talk about, I talk about some of the high school and college practices that I've been to that were grinds, and obviously I was able to not stay injured, but I think that's where a lot of injuries happen, is in that tough practice room, and then your body gets worn down, and the season's really long, and that type of things happens. If they were really doing 75-minute practices at maximum, that makes a lot of sense. It goes a long way. And I actually, for one, I get mad that Kale doesn't talk more about his training philosophy, because I think it could help wrestling as a whole if people listen to what Kale said about training and how he made these guys next level.
Yeah, 75-minute practices. That's unthinkable at high school.
Maximum at the longest.
I think about my high school practices. I obviously was not on a college team. They were 2.5 hours.
Christian, you got kicked out of a tournament?
Yeah, once.
What'd you do?
I yelled at a ref. Not
What
much
did you
has
say
changed.
to him? What'd you say?
He called.
Was there a swear word?
No, I didn't swear. No. My guy was riding on top. He might be listening. Zach Ritchie, state champ, big shout. He was a freshman. He was really good. He was Virginia. It's all relative, right? But anyways, he was kind of my guy. I worked really, really closely with him throughout his career, and he was on top, and he was a freshman. He was at like 145 or something, or 35 or something, so wrestling men. But he was on top with legs, a little sloppy, not a leg rider really. And the guy just kind of like briefly rolled him across his back. He didn't hold him at all, and the ref called a really, really bad defensive pin. As you can imagine, those happen. And I lost my mind because it was like a pretty big round. It was like to place at what was a tough tournament in Virginia at that time for us, the Glenvar Invitational, Highlander. And so I lost my mind for a little bit, and then I didn't run up, but like I'm walking off, and I get the ref, and I think I asked him if he had dinner plans or something like that, but I was like real aggressive with it, and I got chucked. I got chucked, and then worst part was I got called to I had to explain to the AD what happened, and I was really embarrassed, and it was only my second year coaching, and I wasn't the head coach at this point in time, and the head coach turned me in. I guess he probably should have. I needed that lesson. And it didn't happen again, so thanks Coach Lopez, I guess, for that. But yeah, so I got kicked out. Don't do that, guys. Shoot, that would be tame compared to what I hear from the corner at college and international wrestling tournaments. So, But anyways.
Well, I've never been kicked out. I got one yellow card, and I thought it was total shenanigans.
Did you declare shenanigans?
I tell the guy every time I see him, like, I can't believe you gave me a yellow card. That was ridiculous. Oh, he said it was the end. So the bad call happened. It was the end of the period. So I got up to talk to my wrestler, and he gave me a yellow card because he thought I was coming at him aggressively. I said, no, I'm just talking to my wrestler. He said, okay, well, you still get a yellow card.
I think he wanted to give Ben Askren a yellow card. What do you think?
Only person ever. It's Illinois. It's a referee from Illinois. And I do remind him how absurd it is every time I see him.
That's absurd.
I think my favorite Ben Askren in the corner moment is at Flow Nationals when you were just vehemently against a call. You're just waving your credit card around. Who do I have to pay? Who do I have to pay to get this review through?
Okay. I thought you guys were going to tell me the one time I threw my sandal because you guys had some. It wasn't a block. I can't remember what you guys had in the corner. It was something ridiculous. And I couldn't find it. I threw my sandal to stop the match because a protest, and I won. It was Jared Kradiger, and we won the locked hands call protest.
Wow!
And he won the match.
Mm-hmm.
Great protest.
Well, the credit card one, you guys wait. That was the $100 fee, and we that was Keegan O'Toole, and he lost that call. I thought it was for sure because the leg was all the way across the body, not in the middle. It was against Jarrett Lane of Bucknell, and I thought for sure they were going to wave it off. And I was so mad, and they did not wave that one off.
Wow.
You win some, you lose some.
You do. Sorry about the yellow card. All right, so do we want to discuss Penn State's weekend a little bit?
Yeah.
Because, man,
we do.
They were kind of flirting with disaster with Illinois. It was kind of like if a couple of things went a little differently, if Shakur loses, right? Like, man, and I think of the weekend for Penn State, Shakur Rashid's like the thing that's on top of mind for Penn State fans. And you're feeling good about a lot of places. I think you feel good about what's his name? Daggone
who?
Seth Neville. I thought he's looking really good. But Shakur is a really close one against Wroblewski, and then he loses to Lucas Davison, who we all think is good, but his results have not been exactly amazing right now. And
Well, how about Lucas Davison? Great weekend.
What a weekend.
What a weekend for him.
Beat number 2 Bruner, then beats Shakur Rashid, an All-American. But for me, Shakur, it looked like, was it trust in his knee? That seemed to be like the theme surrounding it. He didn't look like he was super confident with it yet. It was his first match back in almost a year now, 10 months, I guess. Mm-hmm. And maybe that was a factor. Maybe it's a factor in moving up in weight kind of mid-season. I don't know if that was an impact, but he did not look right. He did not look Shakurish to me.
Yeah. And maybe it's he's not had a lot. I mean, I don't know what the Penn State room looks like. Maybe he hasn't had a lot of time back. Maybe he's only been in there for a month, and they said, well, we need to throw him out there so he gets a minimum amount of matches, so he hits those numbers or something. But yeah, Shakur didn't look like the Shakur we have seen in the past, and maybe he gets a lot better. I'm not really sure. But yeah, that's man. I feel like Penn State's on fumes right now. Like, you said Seth Neville's looks good, but what I'm thinking is, dude, they need Seth Neville's to be, I don't know, a top 3, top 4 guy. Yeah. If they want to really compete with Iowa, Seth Neville's got to get up there high. Shakur's got to be a top 3, top 4 guy. Like, they need points they were counting on first place points at heavyweight. Now they're counting on, even if I would say a good performance for Seth Neville's is 6th or 7th, that would be really good. That's not going to be good enough for the team race. Not even close.
Yeah. And while I still think, I continue to say Iowa's definitely the favorite and they have a huge advantage, there's going to be they're going to both get closer to each other. Penn State's going to be scoring more points than they are at some weights, especially from a rankings perspective.
You think so? Are you still you said that last week, and the gap has widened on the rankings.
Yeah, I'm not backing down from that. It's absolutely going to happen.
What's the gap at? What's the gap at?
66.5.
66.5 points.
What was it last week? It had to be less than that.
64.
Like.
That's
64?
it?
Okay, it's only one by 2.
Or not, that's it. That's the only difference?
A lot of the difference came in because Moran had the big week and he had Murin went up because Murin has the win over Moran. So that was a lot of the difference week over week. Because Shakur wasn't ranked and became 23rd. CB, I do want to take you test one thing.
Guys, hold on.
I'm sorry, Ben.
Wait,
I'm sorry, Ben.
No, Matt. Please take him to task. Last week was only 43 points.
Yeah,
Last
it's
week's
huge.
team rankings. Now it's 66. Now crush CP.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Ben. I know you keep saying that there's going to be a potential coming down of Iowa, and there's certainly that's possible given the variance. However, don't you also feel that some of that potential downward variance can be made up for by the amount of bonus points they're going to score?
Well, that's not taking me to task. That's very possibly true.
But I think, I am thinking you said because I feel like you're completely negating the possibility of Iowa, who has scored more bonus points than Penn State last year and possibly the last 2 years.
I know they did in 2018 for sure.
I don't think they did last year.
I don't think they did last year. They did in 2018.
Yeah,
though.
in Cleveland they did.
Yeah.
But okay, but the point remains.
Well, it's not-
they're going to make up for it in bonus points.
Well, Spencer May. Yeah, they're gonna score a lot of bonus. I agree with that. But I think of someone like Mira's not gonna be top 3. I don't think. Lugo is not that sticky at number 1.
I'm not talking about Mirren and Lugo.
Okay, well,
I'm talking about DeSanto. I'm talking about Spencer Lee. I'm talking about Michael Kemmerer.
Kimmer
Marinelli.
Kimmer
Cassiope.
won 9-6 over Jacob Kovac. You're penciling him for major bonus points?
And then he beat Dylan Lighty by the same amount.
By decision.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Did you guys realize right now Iowa has 9 of their 10 guys in the top 4?
It's insane.
Can we take a moment to realize how insane that is?
That's crazy.
That's insane. There's only been one team ever to have 10 All-Americans, and Iowa's got 9 in the top 4 right now.
Who's their lowest ranked
my
guy?
God. Abe Assad.
Mm-hmm.
But
Man.
I think it's like 7 in the top 3. So this Lee's top 3, DeSanto's top 3, Murin's top 3, Lugo's top 3, Young's at 4th, Marinelli's top 3, Kemmer's top 3, Warner's 4, and then Cassiope's 3.
Listen, I may be the only person out there that is just presenting a case for how this team race isn't completely over, right? And I did this last year with Penn State or with Iowa and the other teams. I was like, don't count out Oklahoma State. Don't count out these teams. So maybe it's just the thing I like to do. I like to say, okay, if this happens and this happens, it could happen. And it's even scarier when the team in pursuit or pursuing is Penn State, right? Now, the fact of the matter is 25 is just nothing's going to happen there that is going to help them at NCAAs, right? I feel like at 149, and when Penn State has fewer bullets to go in with, it makes it tough when Iowa has 9 incredible bullets and 1 that's probably going to be really tough as well. But there's just something about that. Okay, if we're saying Penn State's the best at development, they're going to get their guys best by March. Who knows what can happen? An injury here, or 2 seeds don't place routinely at the NCAA tournament, right? It's not uncommon. And what that's going to happen to Iowa, I don't know. But I'm just not ready to say it's over, cancel it, Iowa all the way. It's going to happen. And they're my pick, right?
No, man, Bracky, can we cancel this thing? Let's outvote CP. Let's just cancel it.
We can cancel it? We can call
I'm close to canceling it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't even show up in Minneapolis.
Don't even go,
over.
guys. It's over. It's going to be all Iowa fans.
There are going to be so many Iowa fans.
You have started your turn for Iowa at a very good time because you would be severely outnumbered in Minneapolis, I feel, by the Hawkeye fans.
You think? It's going to be like 50,000 Hawkeye fans.
50,000 Hawkeye fans. The state of Iowa's going to go there.
What's the biggest gap ever between number 1 and 2? Is Iowa going to get the biggest gap ever?
Oh, my gosh. Here we go.
I can tell you what it is. It was the year,
Was it
unsurprisingly,
97?
the year that Iowa scored 170 GD points.
Wow.
The spread was something like, hold on, I'm going to get it pulled up.
He's in his Google Drive
I have
right now,
every
Ben.
100-point team ever. I don't know when the last time I opened
got
it is. Biggest spread.
It's going to be a big spread this year. It is not going to be close.
It was something to the effect of like 50 some odd points. 113.5, so that's 56.5 points.
Yeah.
Although
God, that's a lot of points.
Oklahoma State, the year they won, it was like 70 points. I think that might actually been biggest spread. No, I know. I know. Well, because as soon as I saw it, I remembered. But yeah, it's like 70 points is the biggest spread ever.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. He's a positive. Wow, this is it. 56.5. But you'll be surprised to
I
learn.
remembered it right away.
Yeah, that was a really good team. Now, man, you know what's interesting? We gotta get off Iowa, Penn State at some point, but not now.
Why? It's fascinating.
It is fascinating. Where is this? Unquestionably, the best team of. It's Jim Zalewski's 59th birthday tomorrow. That's what that alert says. So everyone wish
happy
Jim
birthday,
Zalewski
Jim.
happy birthday. And I'll mute my computer now. Is this the best team of Tom Brand's career?
Yes.
They put 5 in the finals in 2010.
They got 9 in the top 4. 9 in the top 4.
Okay, well, they have to
finish like that.
They have to finish there, buddy. Do you think they're going to finish? Do you think Iowa's got 9 in the top 4?
Christian, I didn't rank them in the top 4. You guys did. That's you. Right there.
Oh,
you did.
Hold on. You're the intellect. You're the one. You're the expert. You're supposed to see through all that stuff and actually discern.
Let's see. I would say chances say that's highly unlikely, as you're saying. I think, let's see. If I'm going profit, I think they'll probably have 6 in the top 4 would be my guess, and that's still amazing.
Amazing.
That'd
It'd be
guess.
something. You know, Oklahoma State had 8 All-Americans. If Iowa got 10, that would be.
It would only be the second team ever to do it.
Yeah.
Second team ever. Minnesota 99. Yeah, I can see that. Well, let's talk about this Penn State dual meet. So we didn't get, we kind of started on that and got off that.
Having a hard time.
Having a very hard time. Yeah, so I can't believe some of these guys that Penn State throws in there. The backups just aren't better. They were having. I was following the Friday match during the dual meet, and every time I thought, okay, Penn State's going to widen the gap, and then it was 16-16. I'm like, oh God, like if Shakur's not back and healthy, they're going to lose this duel. Like they could very realistically lose to Illinois, and then. The unfortunate part about the Sunday duel, I kept trying to flip on FloWrestling to watch my freaking Penn State Northwestern duel, and every time a match I was excited about was going to happen, someone wasn't there. I want to watch Seabass RBY. Oh, that's not happening. Okay, I turn it off. I want to watch Verclaren versus Yaya Thomas. Oh, that doesn't happen. I want to watch Deacon Berge. Oh, that doesn't happen. It was so annoying that I couldn't watch 8 of the matches I wanted to watch. Were you guys mad about that too?
Yeah. It's very frustrating to not be able to watch what you want to watch, Ben.
David McCutcheon, I'm assuming Matt's father, on Facebook Live here earlier said that Penn State started 5 walk-ons against Illinois.
Jeez.
What? That sounds right.
And if you...
Yeah, sounds about it.
Dang it, I just had the box score pulled up.
I mean, some of these guys, they might have got out of the cafeteria on Friday. I never heard them before.
Well, Creighton Edsel beat Jack Jessen. That's pretty. Creighton Edsel. That was not a familiar name to me, and he beat a legitimate recruit for Northwestern.
Yeah, that was on Sunday against Illinois. I'm assuming he probably means Brandon Meredith at 125, Austin Claybaugh at 33.
Yeah, where was Roman? Yeah,
Bo Pfeiffer at 57, Connor Krasig at 65. Is Verclaren a walk-on? I don't.
Everyone says he is. He's like
he did decide on Penn State super late in the game. If you remember, he was going to go to Iowa State. So yeah, that's half your lineup.
How crazy is it that as injured and as Penn State has been, as many problems they've had, still like 2 in the country is like their absolute floor. Like the way this team race is constructed, nobody's talking about them finishing anywhere lower than 2. It's kind of a testament to how good they are.
Yeah, there's no it's very hard to imagine them not getting second there. Yeah, I was disappointed in no Berge. Berge couldn't fulfill the prophecy of becoming the number 1 ranked wrestler in America.
Who prophesied that?
That was my prophecy. It was a Tuesday headline, so you have to go big. It's a go big or go home type of situation.
Did we do Tuesday headlines last week?
We did.
Can we read them back? Let's read them back.
Let's not do that.
It's not going to be a good
They were all terrible.
No, that's great.
Oh,
That's the point of Tuesday headlines. You have to say something that's either so hilarious on Tuesday or you're a freaking genius. You have to look like a complete joke or complete genius.
I just gotta go back in the Google Drive, and I'll be able to find it somewhere.
No,
I'm gonna do my research.
Give yours. No, you have to.
Mine was that Purdue gets a couple upsets on Iowa.
Okay.
Ooh.
Did not go well.
Yeah.
Same.
Did not
Bray's
go well.
was basically the same.
Yeah, Bray.
I said I said that Northern Colorado was going to beat Oklahoma State.
And they won.
They
9-1.
They won one match, and it was a Reese Whitcraft meltdown away from being shut out.
Yeah,
not good.
And I said that mine was a piggyback off of his, that Lira's was going to get his first ranked win the Battle of the Boos. My reverse jinx of Blue Island continues to be effective.
Yeah, Boo, the real Boo, I'm going to say, because I think that's actually on his birth certificate.
Yes.
I think almost majored Aliris, or did major.
Yeah, it got at the end.
But yeah, it was not pretty. So we were pretty.
What was you? Yeah, you were Bergie number 1.
Bergie number 1.
Bergie number 1 with 3 matches.
I forgot I had to get off the show early on Thursday. That was not. Now I'm annoyed. I didn't get to give a Tuesday headline, so I failed on my first week. I'm gonna get to try again this week.
You'll have plenty of opportunity to get some headlines out.
I want to apologize to Penn State. Bracky was right. I was confusing 2018, 2019. Penn State had, I roughly did it, but I think I'm about right. Penn State had about double the bonus points that Iowa had last year, so it was 2018.
My
apologies. However, I do think I was going to get enough bonus points to mitigate any concerns that Christian Piles has of crabs pulling themselves back down to the barrel.
Great Baltimore reference there with the crabs. Okay. Now, there's a lot of other stuff going on in the country. Is there anything else on Penn State you want to get to, Ben?
No, but we got to do Iowa-Purdue. That was Iowa-Indiana, I'm kind of on. Iowa-Purdue, I think we definitely need to talk about. I think that's I guess Iowa-Indiana's Kovac and Kemmer. I thought that was interesting.
Kemmer looked tired at the end there.
Yes. Yeah, and so then let's carry that over to the Purdue match. If he looked like crap in the third period against Indiana. So if you tell me that it's 1-1, Dylan Lighty and Michael Kemmer in the third period, and I've seen Friday night, I'm thinking Dylan Lighty's going to win that match for sure. And then all of a sudden, Michael Kemmer just lights him up for 3 takedowns in the third period. After watching Friday night, that kind of blew me away on Sunday.
Yeah, it looked like I feel like as a whole team, Iowa's just like not super clicking on all cylinders in a couple of the matches against Indiana, and that they were really keyed on Purdue. And, like Lugo didn't look great at 49 against Graham Rooks, who I thought he would probably bonus. But then he looked much better against a better guy, Nate Limix, or a guy I think is probably better than Nate Limix, getting the major there. So, yeah, I mean, you could tell. And, Spencer coming out and teching Schroeder in the first period. Schroeder, who majored D'Agostino 2 days before. That was like not alarming because, I mean, Spencer's that's going to be an early termination match, but just to see it again is mind-blowing. And then DeSanto to Ford Melton. I mean, does what he does.
Can I defend Nomad for a second? I'm sorry, I got ADHD. Can I defend Nomad for a second?
Yeah, he's got HGTV. Go ahead.
HGTV. These people coming at Nomad about the article he wrote about Spencer Lee are pissing me off because I love Spencer Lee. But here's the fact of the matter. Nomad is so right because Spencer Lee and his opponents, I get that there's not a lot of second period and third period time, but whatever time Spencer Lee has in the second and third period, his opponents have the equal time, obviously, right? That should be an obvious that's stated. So, yes, Spencer Lee is not nearly as effective in the second and third period. That is just a fact. Nomad pointed that out. I don't know why people keep coming at him. Nomad, I'm going to come be your bodyguard. When people come at you, it annoys me.
It's going to be Ben Askren versus Tom Brands, potentially.
I think it would be. I would love to have Ben Askren as my bodyguard. I am completely aware that Spencer terminates a lot of matches early.
Those words were actually written in the article.
I just did the Hodge rankings, and his average time on the mat right now is 3 minutes and 4 seconds, which is bonkers. And I'm also aware that when matches go to the second and third periods, usually because he's wrestling tougher guys, so there is an expected dip in performance whenever you wrestle someone tougher. However, in the sample size that we have, I reported factual numbers.
Yes.
So
I agree.
Get over it.
I feel like people come at you every week about this though. Every time Spencer Lee gets
it is kind of funny. Every time you text someone in the first period, it is kind of funny.
Yeah, and every time I respond, add it to the ledger.
It's too funny.
It's whatever.
They come at you every single time. Come on, doesn't it get old at some point?
I mean, everything gets old at some point, yeah. But
wow.
I don't know. He's the greatest first period wrestler of all time.
I agree. I would agree with that. Greatest first period wrestler of all time, 100%.
And usually when you're up 12-0, it's hard for the other guy to come back.
It's like that amazing stat that's kind of a fake stat. It's like whoever gets the first takedown wins 85% of the matches. That's like the worst. It's like, well, of course, they get the first takedown because they're better at wrestling.
Right.
That's why they won.
Yeah, the stat is not like it's the reverse correlation. It's the better person gets the first takedown, not the first takedown results in you being the better person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you, Ben. I agree.
I get so mad when people come at you on Twitter about that all the time, and I get really annoyed. But Purdue was good this year. I felt bad for them. They had that big crowd, really big crowd, in their arena, and I felt so bad for them because they didn't win a match, and that's got to feel terrible as coaches. They're doing a really good job. It was just a tough match.
Yeah, once it got rolling, once Coleman, they only had really 3 real good opportunities to win. Coleman, you could say Leidy, and 97. And the ball was rolling. And we've had arguments, Ben, I think you and I, never on the podcast, but just about momentum and the power of momentum. And I'm like, it really doesn't mean anything. And in duels and stuff, I remember because the argument was once it stemmed from when Penn State won their 5. And it was like, oh, well, they just saw this guy win and that guy win, and then that's why Bo Nickel beat Gabe Dean because just the momentum was on their side. You knew it was going to happen. I was like, no, I don't. I really don't think that's it. I don't think that's why. But in any
case, huge.
You think so?
Especially in dual meets. Oh my God, in dual meets, yeah. And we already talked about how many times we referenced the Iowa bench in this match. I mean, dude, they're feeling it. They're feeling their momentum this season is like this big wave, and so it's like, okay, is there anything that can stop this wave? Because if Iowa keeps going the way I was going, it's over. I mean, they need something catastrophic would have to happen to their team chemistry and or a couple injuries for something to stop them. Because they're
Jacob Warner would talk to someone else's girl. It's something like that. Yeah, that's gonna be. The ladies' man, Jacob Warner. Yeah, that should be his
Tuesday
nickname.
Headline. That's a Tuesday headline.
Christian, let's ask a philosophical question here.
Oh, so good. I love philosophy.
I understand your point that like there's all these examples of momentum like stopping or going the other way, and so it's just like not real or kind of nebulous. However, you have to admit that sometimes when you're in a situation, the people around you can improve or disimprove your mood, your energy level. So it is somewhat real, especially when the whole bench is fired up. I mean, the picture we used for Warner beating Bruner was when he got that tilt, and Pat Lugo was the first one up off the bench. The whole bench erupted.
Yeah.
That has an impact on you.
Yeah. But it was after he was getting the near fall. He's already getting the near fall at that point in time. It's not like they were going, Jacob, and then he's getting pumped up and he hits the tilt, then they get excited.
There is something to
I know.
Everyone
of course.
Improving your energy.
Yeah.
And not to get in the whole vibes, all that stuff.
And I would say, honestly, on the negative end of that, too, sometimes it's especially in a dual meet, when they're like, oh, I didn't expect that guy to lose. I didn't expect that guy to lose. And you're on the losing team. And you're thinking, oh, crap, could I lose too? Even when you're the favorite? And that starts getting in your head. That negative, like, oh, my God, that team's wrestling really good today. Oh, my gosh, could I lose? And that gets in people's heads too. So on the other side of the momentum, the negative momentum gets into people's heads too.
So I was rolling at Midlands. They're on fire. They're smoking everyone. They're going to break the scoring record. And Warner loses to Aiello. And then Brucky. What happened? Mm-hmm. This is just what happens in matches. I don't think it's like...
That's a completely different thing, too. You're talking about a tournament where guys are wrestling sporadically. And in a dual meet, you're coming up boom, 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 right after one another. Yeah. You absolutely feed off each other. Yeah. You could be right that I do think Bo Nickel beat Gabe Dean because he was better at wrestling than him.
Yeah.
But to say that the momentum was not just like rolling too... I think is kind of crazy. Also, after having watched college football national championship last night, I see like a lot of parallels.
What happened? I don't even know, Kyle. What happened?
LSU ran away with it in the second half. They kind of pulled away at the end of the first, and then ran away in the second half.
Ben, do you know who they played? Does he even know?
Oregon.
They played Clemson.
There you go.
Okay.
Same
That was
state.
close.
Yeah, definitely really close. But no, they had this, LSU all year had this swagger about them. But at the same time, from what you'd seen with the LSU teams in the past, you were like, okay, because they had this high scoring offense, which they never had. It was like, okay, well, when are they going to falter?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be this weekend. Oh, they got to go to Alabama. They're going to falter this weekend. It never happened. And they just kept this momentum going. They had this unreal confidence in themselves. And I see like the correlations after watching the Iowa duel with Purdue and seeing how that fired up that team was. And you see they have a swagger about them, you know? The Spencer League running over and yelling at DeSanto.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like,
That was
fired
awesome.
up.
I need to know what he said.
That was
so
hey, you know what? I
confused by
did
that.
watch Kyle last night about the national championship. I hope you guys can see this. I'm gonna put it on my camera. I watched this, and this is what Tom Brand should do in Minneapolis. I watched this. Can you guys see this?
Uh-huh.
Oh shoot.
Oh, wait, hold on. Over.
That way. Look at this guy.
Oh.
This is the LSU coach. Look how fired up he is. Oh my God, he's jacked up.
He like
Tom Brand
shotguns
do that?
Red Bulls routinely, Ed Orgeron.
He rips his shirt
No,
off
he
and
doesn't.
stuff.
Does
Yes.
he really?
Yes.
Yes.
He's an animal. Did Brian Smith
never
ever
seen
do
this.
that?
No, I never seen this guy before. But it was like watching a Nick Serrano Austin Santa video. I had to watch it like 5 times.
Have you heard him talk?
No.
It sounds like. Do you know who Tom Waits is?
No.
Okay. Well, he kind of sounds like that guy.
When the show
I'm
ends,
gonna go watch.
when the show
Okay,
ends,
I'll
you
go
look
watch
up
the
a
interview.
Coach O. Just search Coach O.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
like battery acid. So, Iowa rolls. What do you want to talk about in the Purdue match? I mean, Warner 8-2 over. Bruner was good. Assad beats Lyon 8-4 for Kimmer over Leidy, and Coleman falls to Young 4-3.
Yeah, I guess what I would like that momentum thing we've been talking about. It's like I think what it does is in these close matches, it helps you. I think why it really helps if we get down to the psychological basis is the fact that you stop worrying about things that you shouldn't be worrying about, and you're just worried about wrestling. And so when you're in these matches, I mean, both Michael Kemmer and Jacob Warner were essentially, it's a 1-1 match. You're thinking in college wrestling terms, right? When it's 1-0 and the other guy starts down, you're thinking, hey, this is kind of a 1-1 match because the guy's going to get an escape and they'll be 1-1. And they find ways to win these close third period matches. And that's huge for them. You know, if they lose those 2 matches, the duel's not nearly as good. And they win those 2 matches, it helps with Big Ten seeding, helps with NCAA seeding. I mean, it's huge for them. And I just feel like they just found ways to win it. And when teams start getting on rolls, they definitely find ways to win.
Now, so my son makes me do all these hypothetical matchups and predict how things are going to go. He's an Iowa super fan. And so we were going through the Nebraska duel. And I kind of feel like it could happen again against Nebraska. The one match is Assad, Vens.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to be – I think they're going to be favored in every other match.
Let's see. 41.
Maybe
Red Murin's interesting.
For sure. It's extremely interesting.
Let me think. White Marinelli, they'll probably win that one.
Kimmer Labriola is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Kimmer Labriola is a really good one.
Yeah. But
yeah,
it could be
You're right.
super ugly again. And Nebraska, they came out and Wisconsin just jumped all over them early. Barnett got that pin, which was, I think Thompson's good, but I just didn't expect the pinpoints at that point was like, whoa, that was huge for that duel. And then Moran pulls it out late against Chad Redd in a great one. And we can talk about Moran's week. He beats McKee and Chad Redd in the same week. He's all the way up to number 4 in the rankings. 141 continues to be really topsy-turvy with the top 2 guys kind of cementing themselves. Ben, what were your overall thoughts of the Wisconsin-Nebraska duel? I'm sure you watched.
I did watch it. Yep. I talked to Coach Brands yesterday. Yeah, Coach Brands. Oh my gosh. Coach Bono yesterday.
Man, it's happening. It is happening. Oh my gosh.
I talked to Coach Bono yesterday, and he talked about the difference in the team between Friday night and Sunday, and he said something to the effect of, "Hey, if if we didn't have that match, that letdown on Friday night, I don't think Sunday would have been as good. And he referenced Eric Barnett, for example, being a young kid, and his performances were way different. He had that really not so great performance against Patrick McKee where he got majored, and then he comes in and has a great performance against Alex Thompson. And so, Moran was the really consistent one on the weekend, but the team was just fired up for the Nebraska duel. And man, so they went pin, win, major, Moran major, red, and then pin at 49-2. So what was it? It was 19-0, I think. Something crazy after the first four matches.
Yes.
I mean, that's just huge for. Yeah, it was an awesome duel. The stands were packed. It was just a really good environment for Wisconsin wrestling.
6 bonus point wins.
That's crazy.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them were pins or techs. That's kind of Big Ten. You don't really think about stuff like that.
And I don't think I know Wick didn't major Isaiah White, but I don't think he's ever beat him that bad, has he?
One other time, I think their first meeting he did. He got on top and
he cradled him.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I thought that was a really nice win, and I thought he gave up the first takedown, I believe.
Yeah, he did.
He got a late takedown on the first, which is always just huge when you get that takedown and ride out. And then he got a turn, not from a cradle, but he was able to take him over. And yeah, that's a really. I mean, it's hard to put 10 points up against Isaiah White from any position. Yeah. So I think you gotta be feeling good if you're having White. Good match by Wisconsin overall. And but for Nebraska, they've got their work cut out for them against Iowa coming up.
Nebraska's got Iowa, Penn State, and then Ohio State.
Oh,
yikes! They got a heck of a stretch coming
up.
They
might be in good shape. They might be all right against Ohio State. Ohio State wrestled Rutgers, and they wrestle anyone else this? Oh, they wrestled on Monday or whatever.
They had Arizona State Monday, won that close one, and then against Rutgers Friday night we had the Alvarez Decatur match, which Alvarez controlled 6-1.
He really did.
Guys, you guys, I'm gonna credit you guys at FRL.
Sweet.
You guys are making Gas Tank Gary a cultural phenomenon. I mean, people freaking love him. It's awesome.
You can't help it.
I mean, he is like I can't think of so like Gary Traub. If you don't know what we're talking about, you're
they know. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
It's a cultural phenomenon.
Gary Traub is the mayor of Columbus. When that guy is on the mat, they chant his name before, during, and after every match. He's had multiple comeback victories. Now, how good he is, you know what? That frankly doesn't matter. He's winning a whole lot of his matches.
He's actually really good. He's like 16-2.
Yeah, he's only lost 2 matches. He lost to Tanner Hall and one other guy, obviously, and I forget who.
Hang on.
But he's been tough all year long, and just the place goes nuts, and he scores late, and it's just pandemonium, and now he's getting more gassed up.
He lost to Demetrius Thomas 13-9, and Demetrius Thomas is a top 10 guy, and as well as Tanner Hall.
You guys have been guessing Gary phenomenon. You guys haven't even put him in the top 25. I just looked at your rankings.
That's yeah.
The problem is he hasn't. His best win is probably Matt Correnti, who's not ranked right now.
Put him in there.
He's got to be top 25. He's 16-2. He's doing a real Division 1 schedule. I dare say we could find some horrifying losses in that top 25 of heavyweight. Get him in there.
Agree.
Is Spey a Gas Tank Gary hater?
He probably is.
Does he have something? Does Spey drive a smart car? Is he use a bird scooter? Is he anti-gasoline usage? It could be something like that. The fuel consumption problem.
I'm trying to find the other post this morning. I would give me a second. I can surprise you guys. One more thing about Gas Tank Gary, if I can find it, I'm gonna go. Did you guys see it on your Twitter? Anyone?
Which one?
You probably retweeted it. Gas Tank Gary and Sadulayev. Did you see that picture?
That was me.
That was David Bray. David Bray.
You put it up, Bray?
I put that up. Yeah, we found out that Gas Tank Gary is like part Sadulayev. Look at the side by side. These two guys are glorious. Absolutely brothers or something.
If he's like Sadulayev with like Hot Pockets and Red Bulls and just like a lot and like red, white, and blue coursing through his veins, and I'll take him head up against Sadulayev in the Cavelli. Bring Sadulayev to the Cavelli Center. I guarantee you, Traub's in. I bet you Sadulayev won't make the walk. He's seen the videos. He knows what happens in the Cavelli Center. He wants no part of it because, you know what? He almost beat Tanner Hall, who once beat Kyle Snyder, who beat Sadulayev. He doesn't want it, period.
Wrestling math, it works every time.
Every time. But no,
you get another chance to see him in the Cavelli Center Friday night against Illinois.
Do they have to rename it?
The Traub Center?
The house of Traub.
The Traub Dome or something like that. Yeah, he is a phenomenon. Have we ever seen a phenomenon like this?
The gas station.
The gas station. No, they need to have like
gas stations in Columbus should be all in on this.
Yeah, they really should. Someone should have a deal. It'd be marketing genius. And first of all, apparently
really
there's Gas Tank Gary shirts, and I'm like trying to get one. And
there's a Gas Tank Gary shirt? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but apparently his dad just like makes them and brings them and just throws them out at the matches.
Well, because you can't, selling them would be illegal because of the
I know.
regulation.
He's invited to come down to our office.
Yeah, I would probably pay for a Gas Tank Gary T-shirt under the radar, although it's now
you're trying to make him ineligible, Christian. You're
not,
a double agent.
No, I'm not paying Gary.
You just said you would.
Well, that's his dad. It doesn't matter. I didn't do it yet, so it doesn't matter. And he's not selling them. He's throwing them at people in the stands,
which makes it even better.
Which makes it even better. Traub apparently also was he one of the 4.0 students as well?
He had to have been.
He had to have been. He just like gasses out his exams and everything. Yeah, I need a Gas Tank Gary shirt. So he's a phenomenon. I've never seen anything like this where a guy that's like, it's one thing when like, you know, Metcalf or a DeSanto or a Mark Hall or a David Taylor was a phenomenon for sure. But like, they were like the best wrestlers in the country.
Yeah.
This guy just comes out of nowhere. He was not even starting coming into the year, and he just has these like rocky moments in the Cavelli Center, and now it's like he's a household name in wrestling.
You watch like Ohio State has gone all in on it, which is awesome.
Yes.
And they posted like 7 different angles on Twitter of the crowd reacting to Gary's win, and you did not see the Ohio State fans react to Logan Stieber like this, to Kyle Snyder like this. I guess probably just because they expected them to win, but still, he gets the crowd so fired up. It's unreal.
It's an easy name to chant, right? Gary, Gary. You can also go Gas Tank Gary, clap, 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 clap.
Wow.
So it's very easy for the fans to get into. Very very simple name for like you get your 8-year-old kid. They're like, hey, just start chanting Gary, Gary. It's very simple. So
like they couldn't chant Kyle or Snyder.
Yeah,
they
but Kyle doesn't come out as cleanly as Gary when you're chanting it.
It's just such a working class name. I can just see it really identifying with the people of Ohio. Gary Traub, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I'm all in on it.
It sounds like you should have a car dealership.
Yeah.
Like you should go in business with the Chevy
Plymouth
Bowman
Mercury.
Dodge.
Gary Traub, Plymouth Mercury. I think we talked about that when he beat Chase Singletary in the wrestle-off. Not this year, but last year.
Yep.
Hey, do we need to get to Q's from Fs? It's 9:27.
Do we need to get to Q's from Fs? Yeah, we
Uh-oh.
might. Because it's
If they're not asking questions about Gary Traub, they're not our friends.
I'm not sure if there were any. I mean, I feel like he's answered every question there is, other than like, will he run for office or something? Traub 2020.
Hey, I don't know if this is true, but on Facebook, someone says he's got 4.0 in petroleum engineering.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna look at his bio right now.
That's fact. Hey, I want to do a quick run through and then we'll go. And Ben, feel free to chime in.
Yes.
So Alvarez, real deal. He beat Decatur and Pepple.
That was good. Yes, he's good. Very good.
He's really dang good. A big week for Moran. We talked about Austin O'Connor back. You could say on track. He pins Mike D'Angelo in a minute. That's insane. UNC kind of smashed Princeton 25-11. South Dakota State had a weekend.
They're on fire right now.
They're really solid in quite a few spots. I could see them qualifying 6 or 7 guys. And it's not just, Tanner Sloan and Polmeyer. That 25, Danny Vegas look good. They've looked good. Their 84 is tough. They knocked off. Who'd they knock off Friday? UNI. They beat UNI and then Wyoming.
In West Gym.
In West Gym, which is apparently 100 degrees, and they're screaming like crazy.
I wrote about this a little bit in Live this week because we have South Dakota State again this week against Iowa State as they come to Brookings. But they started 1-3, kind of struggling. They lost to Binghamton. And then since then, They've won 5 in a row, beating Duke, Michigan State, Old Dominion, Northern Iowa, and now Wyoming. So,
yeah, I love it. And, honestly, any time you have a coach that builds something up and then they leave, you're concerned what's going to happen when they leave. Well, Damien Hogg comes in. That's already a good start right there. But, they lost Seth Gross. They lost, Rob was supposed to go there. They lost some guys. Connor Brown ends up leaving. He's not even at Wisconsin anymore. But regardless, and you're wondering, right? And Bonadis, but the crowd looks great there. I mean, Sunday, it looked like, from what I could see in there, that they were still really fired up for the team. The team's high quality. So I just get excited because I think it's what makes Division I so exciting is that you can have these programs like that. And Campbell, who had a weekend as well, they knocked off Iowa State and was right there with Arizona State. Ben can't stop laughing. What's so funny?
I can't tell you. I'll tell you off air.
Oh, man.
Always fun to hear.
Oh, my gosh. Perfect.
I can't tell you. I can't. Oh, wait, but, oh, my God. It's about Gaston Gary. I'll tell you later.
Okay. I can't wait.
He's my new favorite.
Same. Joey Silva block party. That's going to happen. He came out. He kind of hammered Garrett Pepple, who's good. He beat Sammy Alvarez this year.
You had a lot riding on that one, Christian, because you haven't been shut up about Joey Silva for the last 2 years. You had a lot riding. If you would have lost that match, we would have maybe picked on you a lot today.
You maybe would, but you know what? I never even gave it a second thought. Yeah, especially him. I'm gonna say you're a Silva hater.
You tried to. All I did was call you on the fact that you said he can win a national title at 133 this year.
Okay. Well, first of all, yes, he can. So
first of all, yes, he can.
He's undefeated. He has a better win percentage than Austin DeSanto, Seth Gross, and Sebastian Rivera. So that alone. How's that for
you? Probably want to rank him 1-0 after number 1 after his 1-0 start.
I think he's earned it after all he's been through. Weiler beats Dupre, then loses to Jonathan Lowe. Chris Weiler is a rankings nightmare. He does this.
Yes.
Great win, and then what the heck's going on? And really, Dupre's been such a rock this year. It's the most surprising. To me, it says more about Dupre than Weiler. I'll say that. It says something was up with Dupre. Not trying to take credit, but if you lose to Lowe the next week, it maybe means something. USA announced these Pan Am wrestle-offs. I had no idea this was coming. We have Helen Maroulis versus Allie Reagan. Winner gets Jenna Burkett.
This is happening? When's this happening?
In like a couple weeks.
February 8th, I think.
Yeah, they're doing it in conjunction with WCWA's.
Yeah. So who knew that was going to happen? So I'm really excited for that. Deacon destroyed Kendall Coleman on Friday night. That was unreal. Just a total beatdown of a very good guy.
Impressive.
And then Davison beat Bruner, and that wasn't a takedown, but it doesn't matter because I have a rule. That is not real, but I think it should be.
Okay.
If you're in these 1-1, I talked about this in the content meeting yesterday. If it's like 1-1 overtime match, if you get 80% of the takedown, just throw up the 2. It's better than the thing going to tiebreakers and you win by 4 seconds of riding time. So you know what? Davison got close enough. Give him the 2.
Sorry, I just ate tiebreaker rules.
Sure.
That was what that disgusting was.
Yep,
there.
everyone's cool with it. Oh my gosh. All right, I now know what Ben was laughing at. All right, time for questions from friends. Let's go straight to Ben on this one. Colin Wilhite, more impressive or difficult, pin or first period tech? From the pinner himself. This is going to be tough for him because he knows the answer is first period tech.
Yeah, first period tech. But then Tommy and I had this argument a lot. It's like, well, then what? It might be easier because if you tech them, why couldn't you put their shoulders flat on the mat? Do you have some inability to put their shoulders flat? Because if you score all those points, you sure as crap should be able to put their shoulders flat. Maybe you really struggle with that.
Well, the tech fall, you see a lot of techs. The guys that rack up a lot of techs are tilt guys. They're guys, and tilts don't really pin guys than me.
Can we get to this is a question about Spencer Lee.
Yes.
Okay, my answer has nothing to do with Spencer Lee. This has everything to do with Hawkeye fans being angry. I don't know, specifically the Hodge rankings or perception of people. However, Spencer only has like 2 pins this year. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, of course he's wrecking he's wrecking everybody in the first period and getting techs, which are supremely impressive. However, if it was the other way around and Chenzo had 7 techs and Spencer had more pins, and Chenzo was pinning people in the first period and Spencer was or whatever, they would want it the other way around in like Hodge rankings and pound for pound and all these things. It's just completely in the moment. They want Spencer Lee to be number 1 because Spencer Lee is freaking incredible and amazing, and maybe he's gonna be the greatest Hawkeye of all time. But that's 100% what this question is. And I'm sorry, Colin Wilhite, you're not the only one. I don't mean to single you out, but that's 100% what this question is about.
Certainly is. It definitely is.
They just want Spencer to be number 1 in everything.
Hey, Dan didn't make the Hodge criteria. Number 1 record. Number 2, number of pins. It's not number of tech falls.
The point of wrestling is to pin people.
Yes.
Every single form of wrestling is to get people's back flat on the mat. Therefore, it is the most important, hardest, and should be the most rewarded thing. Sorry, now I'm sweating.
And boom goes, he's sweating. Nomad has been wearing a lot of shirts with buttons these days. You should see his shirt from yesterday. It was wild. I hope you will
run it back Thursday.
Run it back Thursday. You didn't sweat through it.
No,
that's good. Okay, this is crazy. My name is Jeff. Over. Iowa puts 5.5 into the NCAA finals. Love that they put the half. Like it could be 6. That's what. By the way, Caleb Davis Piles says there's going to be 6 Hawkeyes in the finals. So
no, he said 6 champs.
Oh yeah, 6. Well, yeah, of course, champs. So he's got 6 in the finals at least. So he would take the over. I will take the under.
What do you mean? Got in the final? I got 4 maybe for Iowa. I got 4 maybe 5.
Well, they could have certainly Spencer, DeSanto, Lugo.
Yes.
Marinelli.
Well, I don't think that one. Yes.
Which one? Lugo?
I think I'm out on Lugo.
Okay, well, he's ranked number 1, so he's certainly
fair enough. Yep.
Marinelli, Kimmer, Cassiope. I mean, Jacob Warner at this point.
Except Lugo.
Yeah, they could. Man, they could reasonably put a ton.
I guess it's a real question.
That got it. Now I'm kind of thinking.
I'll go under. What do you got, Nomad and Bracky?
At first I would have said under, but now like going through it, I'm say over.
Did Caleb swing you?
It.
Oh, what?
I'm gonna say Spencer Lee, Austin DeSanto,
Patricio,
Alex Marinelli,
okay,
Michael Kimmer, Tony Cassiope.
So you think Cassiope beats Mason?
I do.
Nothing wrong with that.
Mine has less to do with like Iowa specifically in the makeup of this year. It's just it has only happened 3 times, and those times were also like surprising, and some upsets had to happen, some things had to fall in place. So no, it's not going to happen. They're going to win the national title, but they're not going to have 6 champs.
This is finalists. The question is finalists.
It's the same thing.
Okay. Then Aymar is a 4-time champ now.
Yeah, they're not going to put 6 in the finals.
Where you go, Ben? 4-timer.
There's too many things that need to happen. They are going to win the national title, though.
Is it conceivable that Penn State goes from NCAA favorite in October to out of a team trophy come March? No, that is not conceivable. I do not conceive of that. Bracky's Eagle statue. No. Inconceivable.
Our skin checks a hit on Mark Hall or Vincenzo. Someone Tanya Harding's them or something.
Yeah, geez, leave those guys alone.
Yeah, it means something very bad that we don't want to happen would have to happen.
Seth Gross was up 14-0 against Minnesota going into the third period Friday night. Minnesota chose top. Good match tactics or mistake? That's brilliant.
I mean, what? Yeah.
You get taken down to your back.
Right.
You get pinned. No.
You choose bottom, get tilted or pinned.
Yeah. No. Yep. Good job, Coach Eggum.
Agreed.
I kind of don't want to answer this question.
Hold on. You know what that's like?
Uh-oh.
It's like bunting to break up a perfect game or like a no-hitter, and all the baseball hunters like, that's so ridiculous. It's like, no! The object is to win the game. So I'm going to get on base however I can.
Yeah. I'm
going to mitigate this as best as possible.
Baseball has all these weird, like, unwritten rules.
And all of them are trash.
They're all terrible. They're all
100%.
terrible. Who are the top heels of wrestling? Mako, Gable, and Lesnar come to mind. Where's Ben Askren's name? Any other big ones? Ben Askren definitely didn't mind being the heel.
I think I was a little bit of a face because I went to Missouri. I mean, really, Iowa guys and Oklahoma State guys are the real heels. And the one I was there from my era is Johnny Hendricks.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Big time.
Johnny Hendricks, Thomas Gilman, Austin DeSanto.
Yep.
DeSanto's.
Tony Ramos was way up there. That guy could fire people up.
Oh, yeah, he was a good one.
All right, I've got to. All right, Ben Swala has asked this question a couple times in a row, so I'm going to ask it. Question for Ben Askren. I remember hearing some rumors that you had always wanted to go to Iowa State, but a certain assistant coach, who's now a head coach, big-timed you on your visit. Any truth to this rumor?
It wasn't on my visit, but yes, that's true. Chris Bono. I was at the Olympic Training Center. Yep, I was at the Olympic Training Center. I was hanging out with Trent and Travis Paulson and a guy named Matt Pell, who went to Missouri with me. We were all going somewhere, and Chris Bono steps in, and he says, "Hey, Paulson twins, I'm going to come out to your house next week," or whatever it was, right? And Iowa State was my favorite team. That was when Cale was just in there, right?
Yeah.
So I loved them. And I said, "Hey, Coach Bono, are you going to come to my house?" And he said, "Oh, this part's going to be so good now." And he said, "Well, what have you ever done?" I said, "Well, I won 2 state titles in Wisconsin." He goes, "It's just Wisconsin." And he walked away. And I'm like, F that guy.
Things change.
More important, Ben, Bono big time in you, or Bader's incredible skills as a host on your recruiting visit?
Well, that was it, right? So then, they didn't recruit me. My first visit at the University of Missouri, I got paired with this guy named Mark Bader. And, man, I was sold. I hit it off with Mark, and he was in my wedding. I was in his wedding. It's crazy how just sometimes, you get just put with the right person and you just jive with them.
Speaking of Mark Bader, he's got Flow TV running today. 100 matches from your favorite wrestlers competing in Rome. Fix, Gilman, Zane, J.O., Dake, Chamizo, Ringer, Zahid, PD3, Nickel, Snyder. And he threw an et cetera in there, so there's others. So make sure you check that out. Very interesting. Wow. I didn't realize that.
100 matches. Ambitious.
So who did it come down to again for you? I know I've seen the movie about you, Ben, but for recruiting.
Me, Missouri was kind of far and above everyone else. It was so I guess the next tier would have been Northern Iowa, Arizona State, and Michigan. That would have been the next tier.
I thought you and I was in the mix there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, a few people asked my opinion on the Joey Gunther.
Oh, yeah. He got stalled out.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it. Yes.
They were wondering if I was, flexing, happy like Mark was, because Mark kind of partied on him.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I just shrugged my shoulders, and I said, that's what he is. We've literally seen this happen before against an elite guy, Alex Marinelli. He got stalled out in, the second period there. That's who he is.
Wow.
He is who we thought he was. And Mark Hall didn't let him off the hook.
Bracky, let me ask you this. How many other guys in Division I wrestling have been stalled out of multiple matches?
Find me one.
I'm asking you.
I mean, Austin DeSanto has done it to multiple people, but I don't think those people have then been stalled out again. You know how he responded from being stalled out? How would you respond from being stalled out?
Put up 17.
Yeah, 3 points.
Did he win?
Huh?
Did he win?
Yeah.
There you go. Got the W. That's the bottom line. He got the W. I need this man on the podium so bad.
Did he win? Well, yeah.
That's so funny.
Do all of you other guys really think that no one else has been stalled out more than one time?
No, I'm sure it's happened.
I'm asking. I don't know. I'm trying
currently.
I don't think there's many ranked wrestlers that have been stalled out multiple times. It's a little easier to get stalled out with the edge rules now. You saw it in heavyweight some. I think Dayton stalled someone out.
It almost happened to Mason Paris, right? At NCAAs?
Yeah, Mason almost got stalled out. And Mason doesn't even know how to not shoot. He only shoots, but he couldn't stop going out of bounds against Sam Stoll.
Okay, so how about this?
That match was a mess.
Someone tweeted me this. Silver lining, Gunther put up 6 points on the board before he got DQ'd for stalling. That's his third highest point total of the year.
Oh, my gosh.
How many of those were E1s?
All of them.
Man, we need to be nicer to Joey Gunther. I feel for this poor guy.
Mark Hall, I can't wait. Not that I can't wait for his career to be over, like when I'm gone, but I just can't wait to look back on Mark Hall's career because it is so fascinating.
Why?
A lot of reasons that we don't have time to get into right now.
That's a tease.
Wow, what a tease!
Coming up,
why Mark Hall's season is indescribable. Okay. When's the last time, if ever, Iowa had 0 Iowa natives in their year-end lineup?
I'm going to say never.
I would like to say probably never happened. And it's going to happen.
We need an Iowa historian. Yeah.
We need an Iowa historian.
Well, what if Cash Wilkie found his way back in the lineup?
That's their only way. Or like Cassiope gets hurt and Aaron Costello comes in or something. Something bad has to happen
it would be someone who's currently a backup.
Yeah. And it's crazy. It's like we were talking a little bit about Iowa high school wrestling coming into the show, before the show. It's like Iowa has no choice. You cannot win at the Division I level with a core of Iowa wrestlers right now coming out of high school.
It's like this for a lot of schools, though, and I started the series over the summer. I never finished it, but like where your points come from in-state versus out-of-state, I'm going to finish it next summer. I just got to.
It's a two-summer project.
Anyway.
It's like a deck.
For like 4 or 5 years ago, Penn State, Ohio State, Iowa, and definitely Oklahoma State, I didn't run them specifically, but I just know this off the top of my head, they were getting 60, 70, 80% of their points from in-state. Every single one of them has shifted to out-of-state guys, even with Penn State and Ohio State having the extremely fertile recruiting grounds that they have. It's just kind of the way things have shifted.
How many points are Pennsylvania guys going to score for Iowa this year? What's the total on that?
Oh, a ton. It's going to be
2,000 pounds.
Yeah, it's going to be, probably tons. 80, 90 points, Ben.
Seriously, I mean, DeSanto, Lee, and Kemmer alone, that's probably 70.
Caleb Young,
yeah. It's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot. A lot.
Holy smokes. Okay, well, it's 9:46 deep in the heart of Texas. So I guess we got to go. Any parting thoughts, Benjamin? Ben?
That was fun. I'm really excited for the Mateo Pelicone this weekend. And then
baby.
I'm excited for Ohio State. Wisconsin's probably the one I'm most excited for. But I'm sure we're going to talk about these tomorrow, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Preview these?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
We're getting all that.
I'm excited to talk. Iowa, Nebraska, I'm pumped about, too.
We'll get into all that and more. Caleb, we're ready to go. Thank you guys so much. 445 strong, Flow Wrestling Radio Live. Check out Flow TV right now. It's happening. You can just I don't know.
Have it on in the background.
And just in general, Bader's doing, really trying to make persistent programming for you guys where you can watch content live all day long. So please continue to check out Flow TV.
That's what's up. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks to Ben. See you soon. Goodbye.